Some truths hide until someone dares to see them. This is VeilX TV.
Disclaimer. This content contains fictional, speculative, and AI-generated elements intended only for entertainment. VeilX TV does not claim any information shown as factual.
Something happened in 2012. Something subtle enough that most people never noticed, but powerful enough that millions swear reality itself changed. You might think this is exaggeration. You might think this is just the Mandela Effect. But the truth is far stranger. This story begins long before the internet made these memory anomalies famous. It begins with a simple question. Why do so many people remember the exact same wrong details, in the exact same way, and all starting around the same year? To understand the shift of 2012, we must go back to the ancient world, to a civilization that predicted a cosmic turning point. The Mayans didn't predict the end of the world. They predicted the end of a cycle, a reset, a transition into a new pattern of reality. Their long count calendar ended on December 21st, 2012, and they said what came after would not be destruction, but transformation. For centuries, no one knew what that meant. But then, odd things began happening. People woke up one day remembering movie quotes differently. Logos looked slightly wrong. Books had changed. Geography wasn't the same as it used to be. Historical events seemed rewritten. You hear someone say, "It was always like that." But inside, you know, it wasn't. And millions agree with you. The Bermuda Triangle's shifting location. New organs inside the human body. Famous lines from movies suddenly changed. Countries in different positions on the map. Memory? A glitch? Or something else? Some believe 2012 marked the beginning of collective timeline drift, where reality began rearranging itself, merging, splitting, and correcting like a corrupted file. Others believe the shift came from something more modern, something scientific. In 2012, one of the world's most controversial scientific facilities reached full operational power, CERN's Large Hadron Collider. The collider achieved unprecedented energy levels many experts warned could theoretically disturb space-time on a microscopic scale. And if space-time can be disturbed, even slightly, so can timelines. A leaked internal memo allegedly suggested that by late 2012, scientists observed brief deviations in temporal expectation values. In simple words, reality flickered and never fully resettled. But this theory goes deeper. Psychologists noticed a sharp rise in shared false memories beginning exactly around 2012. Not random mistakes, but identical, highly specific alternate memories, shared by millions. People who never met from countries thousands of miles apart, remembering the same wrong lines, the same wrong histories, the same wrong childhood memories, as if they lived in a different version of the world. Some researchers believe humanity crossed into a parallel timeline. Others say multiple timelines merged, blending our memories like cards shuffled together. A whistleblower known only as Elias claimed, "The 2012 shift wasn't the start, it was the correction." When asked what that meant, he said, "Your world was never supposed to continue past 2012, but something or someone extended the simulation." He wouldn't elaborate. But he said memories don't match because we are living in a version of reality that wasn't originally ours. Many people describe the same strange feeling. The world feels off. Colors feel slightly different. The sky feels brighter. Time moves faster. Call it timeline drift syndrome. You might have felt it too. Do you remember longer summers as a child? Do you remember more stars in the sky? Do you feel like 2016-2024 passed too quickly? Many believe these are symptoms of living in a shifted reality. But then, a new pattern emerged. Sometime after 2012, Mandela Effects became more dramatic. Not just small details, but entire stories, world events, even people changing roles in history. Researchers noticed clusters of memory anomalies aligning with astronomical cycles, almost like ripples passing through time. If the shift happened, what caused it? A cosmic event? A scientific one? Or something deeper? Something hidden? Some say the real reason is locked in ancient writings. Some say government black sites know the truth. Some say it was the moment our universe overlapped with another. But one thing is certain, 2012 was not the end, and the Mandela effects we see today may just be the symptoms of a world still trying to stabilize. This is where the real mystery begins. Something strange happened after 2012. Something no one could explain. It wasn't loud, it wasn't violent. It didn't leave ruins or smoke. It left something far more dangerous: questions, contradictions, and memories that no longer matched reality. By 2013, early forms began collecting these anomalies. Most were ignored as jokes at first, but then researchers noticed something chilling. Thousands of posts from different countries, different cultures, different languages, all describing the same memory differences, and all beginning around 2012. One of the earliest was a case involving the children's book series, The Berenstain Bears. Millions insisted it used to be spelled Berenstain, S-T-E-I-N, but in this timeline, it has always been spelled Berenstain, A-I-N. Not thousands, millions remembered the wrong version, and they all said something identical. I know it wasn't spelled this way. This wasn't misremembering. This was collective certainty. Another early anomaly? People began reporting that New Zealand was in the wrong place on the map. Many remembered it being northeast of Australia, not southeast. Then geography shifted again. South America now appears much more to the east than many remember. These weren't small differences. These were global-scale location changes. Something impossible, unless our memories belonged to a different version of Earth. The shift wasn't stopping. More anomalies piled up. The human heart, once remembered on the left, now sits in the center. The Bible verse, "The lion shall lie down with the lamb," no longer exists. Famous movie lines changed. Entire generations quoting versions that were never official. People remembering a painting of Henry VIII holding a turkey leg, a version that cannot be found anywhere today. The Monopoly man losing his monocle, though millions swear he had one. The world started behaving like a corrupted computer file, patched, rewritten, and overwritten. Some believe the shift fractured reality. Others think we slipped into a neighboring timeline. But then a new theory arose, a theory far darker than anything before. Physicists studying the Mandela Effect noticed something strange about memory clusters. The anomalies didn't appear at random. They appeared in waves, almost as if memories were bleeding from parallel realities at specific intervals. In late 2014, mid-2017, early 2020, and late 2023, each wave brought new reported anomalies, not thousands this time, but millions. Search engines showed massive spikes in Mandela Effect reports during these exact periods. As if reality was flickering again, a physicist from Geneva, anonymously nicknamed Dr. Marek, leaked a message. "The fabric is thinning. Two timelines are interacting. The interference patterns are memories." He claimed people aren't misremembering the past. They're remembering the past of another timeline that overlapped ours briefly. If this is true, then the biggest question becomes, what happened in 2012 that caused timelines to collide? The answer may lie in a series of events that happened quietly, unnoticed by the world. In mid-2012, the Large Hadron Collider achieved 7 trillion electron volts, a record-breaking energy level. Soon after, internal documents from CERN described unexpected anomalies in particle behavior. That's scientific language for something happened that the math couldn't explain. Another document leaked in 2013 referenced a phenomenon called a temporal displacement event. It lasted less than a second, but inside that fraction of a moment, something changed. Some researchers believe this was the exact moment when our universe shifted. Others believe something else, something older, was responsible. Because around the same time, astronomers detected a massive gamma burst from deep space. A cosmic event aligned eerily close to Earth's 2012 date. And ancient Mayan glyphs predicted a similar cosmic alignment. A transition where reality would enter the fifth sun. Was the shift caused by science, a cosmic event, or something both ancient and modern colliding at the same moment? Even stranger, some believe this shift didn't just affect Earth, it affected time itself. People began reporting strange temporal experiences. Time speeding up, days feeling shorter, weeks disappearing, memory gaps, a sense of something missing in life. Researchers called it accelerated temporal perception. Ordinary people called it something simpler. Time didn't used to feel like this. Even scientists admit something is off. The Schumann resonance, Earth's natural heartbeat frequency, spiked repeatedly after 2012. No one knows why. Some say a new timeline operates at a slightly different frequency. Others say we merged with one where physics and perception behave differently. But the most disturbing theory, that we are now living inside a constructed timeline, an extension beyond 2012. Because the original timeline was never meant to continue. This matches the warning from the whistleblower, Elias. 2012 was your expiration date. You are living in a corrected timeline, not the original. If that's true, then every anomaly, every false memory, every glitch is a sign that the correction is failing. Something is unraveling. And the Mandela effects we notice are attempts to patch the timeline before it collapses. But there's one anomaly, one massive shift, that terrified researchers, historians, and whistleblowers alike. Something big enough that people who investigated it disappeared. Something that may prove the shift wasn't an accident at all. It was caused, and it was covered up. This is where the story gets dangerous. Dr. Leon hadn't slept in more than 30 hours, because the deeper she dug into the anomaly logs, the more disturbing the patterns became. Every 12 days, without fail, the system recorded something called a temporal pressure droop, a tiny sudden dip in space-time density, something that shouldn't happen naturally, at least not on a stable timeline. But the real horror? These pressure drops always occurred at the exact same global second, 00713 UTC. That number meant nothing on its own, until she cross-checked it with CERN archives. Her hands froze. Because 000713 UTC was the exact time, down to the millisecond. The 2012 Large Hadron Collider test reached maximum compression, right before its sensors overloaded for 4.2 seconds. Those 4.2 seconds were erased from public documentation, declassified only as system blackout due to thermal spike. But her screen told a different story, a terrifying one. The 4.2-second blackout perfectly aligned with the very first recorded temporal pressure droop. Meaning, that moment, the moment CERN hit maximum energy, something happened. Something big enough to shake the entire timeline. At 3:17 a.m., Leon received an anonymous email. 2012, CERN unreleased, MP4. When she opened it, the footage was obviously authentic, clearly recorded by an engineer's helmet cam. Then the screen glitched, not like digital corruption, but like the camera itself was slipping between two different realities. Frames overlapped. Shadows moved independently of their sources. Background objects flickered. Different shapes, different colors, different physics. And then, the chamber lit up with a blinding white sphere. Silent but vibrating, like light without sound. The shadows were out of sync with time. But when the video returned to normal, 3 technicians simply weren't there anymore. Just gone as if they never existed. The file ended abruptly, but the scariest part? Inside the metadata, generated 14th December 2012, reality layer, beta. What does that mean? Why label our world beta? Dr. Leon opened the original sensor readings from early 2013, just months after the incident. They weren't measuring radiation. They were measuring continuity, the baseline consistency of reality itself. And between November 2012 and February 2013, continuity dropped by 19%. No natural phenomenon could do that. A drop like that means whatever timeline we were on before 2012, we're not on it anymore. We're on a new branch, a new save file. This explains everything. Brand logos changing, movie lines rewritten, childhood memories shifting. If millions of people remember the same wrong version, then maybe it's not wrong. Maybe it belonged to the previous timeline. Just when she was ready to shut everything down and go home, something new appeared on her timeline scanner. It appeared in a simple block of ASCII characters. You are not supposed to see this. Leon stared at the screen, frozen. Correction? As in, reality is still being adjusted? Then another message appeared. The shift of 2012 was only the beginning. Wilderness, and a timestamp set for 3 days from now. The implication was clear. Whatever started in 2012 was about to continue. Or worse, finish, and the Mandela effects we've been experiencing? Reality being rewritten piece by piece. After years of collecting testimonies, researchers began noticing a new category of reports, ones that didn't describe memories of the past, but warnings of the future. People experienced sudden flashes of events that had not yet occurred but felt unmistakably real. Some saw disasters that never happened. These were not traditional premonitions. They felt like fragments, tiny pieces of timeline residue bleeding through from a version of reality we were never meant to see. What made them disturbing wasn't their accuracy, it was their origin. A small group of physicists working quietly outside the public eye discovered something consistent across nearly every future fragment report. The visions carried a timestamp hidden in the pattern of their descriptions. When mapped onto a timeline, the reports formed a perfect arc that aligned with the same mathematical frequency discovered in the earlier Mandela anomalies. It was as if the universe itself was humming with a tone that only certain minds could hear. One of the physicists, Dr. Leon Mercer, noticed that the arc pointed toward a specific date in the near future, a date that seemed to act like a convergence point, a moment where timelines would intersect again, just as they had in 2012. The closer humanity moved toward that date, the more the anomalies increased. People reported waking up with memories of conversations that had not happened yet. Families insisted that photographs changed overnight, displaying people in arrangements no one remembered posing for. Entire online communities posted about returning to places they had visited countless times, only to find the layout subtly wrong, as though the environment had been rebuilt based on a vague blueprint of the original. The most unsettling shift came when individuals began remembering entire days that no one else experienced. These were called orphan days. They felt real, full sensory experiences, emotions, dialogue, sunlight, rain, everything. And then, without warning, they vanished, replaced by a new version of the day that contradicted everything they had lived through. A few people became terrified to sleep, fearing they would wake up in a version of reality where their loved ones no longer recognized them. Researchers studying these anomalies discovered a disturbing pattern. Orphan days clustered around specific regions, as if certain places acted like weak points between overlapping timelines. Cities at high altitude, remote islands, and mountainous regions had reports several times higher than average. The pattern mimicked maps from declassified research involving geomagnetic anomalies, locations where Earth's natural fields fluctuated in irregular ways. Some researchers believed these areas were acting like cracks in the timeline. Others believed they were gateways. But one theory overshadowed all the others. Deep analysis groups noticed that the increase in timeline anomalies mirrored a signature not caused by nature, but by technology. Frequency wave analysis indicated manipulation, an interference pattern that matched the pulse detected in the 2012 shift. The signature implied that the original shift was not an accident. Something created it, and whatever did was doing it again. Quiet conversations among off-record analysts suggested that a classified experiment, rumored to involve consciousness mapping, had reached activation phase in mid-2012. The project, known only by a code name that leaked once and was never acknowledged again, was alleged to involve a device capable of synchronizing neural activity across large populations. Its purpose was unclear. Some believed it was designed to study collective thought, while others feared it was an attempt to influence it. If the device malfunctioned or was pushed beyond its intended capacity, it might not have simply disrupted data. It could have disrupted reality. Those who investigated the project met dead ends no matter how far they dug. Documents were missing, servers wiped. People who once worked on the project quietly disappeared from all professional records, as if they had never existed. But the anomalies continued. Timeline shifts became stronger. Memories became less reliable. Time itself felt malleable, bending, reconfiguring, adjusting to an invisible rhythm. And gradually a new fear emerged. The anomalies were not random, they were progressive. Each new wave pushed reality slightly further from the version people remembered. Those sensitive to the shifts felt as if something was approaching, something that existed just outside perception. A pressure, a vibration, a presence waiting for the final convergence point. Researchers realized that the shift was not a single event, but a cycle, a sequence, a countdown. The closer humanity moved to the convergence date mapped by Dr. Mercer's team, the more the world felt unstable. Memories blurred, distances felt incorrect. Technology behaved unpredictably. Even digital timestamps began conflicting, devices showing different dates despite syncing to the same network. And then came the most chilling discovery yet. In certain locations, people reported seeing themselves. Not reflections, not hallucinations. Versions of themselves wearing different clothes, with slightly altered expressions, silently observing them before vanishing like static dissolving in air. These sightings were rare, but always occurred near the geomagnetic weak points, always followed the same timeline pulse, always happened to people who had reported prior anomalies. It suggested only one possibility. The boundaries separating our reality from another were thinning. The timeline was collapsing inward, and whatever happened in 2012 was preparing to repeat itself on a scale far larger than anyone imagined. The convergence point was no longer a theory, it was approaching, and humanity had no idea what would happen when the timelines finally aligned again. As the predicted convergence date approached, the anomalies intensified. Memory distortions no longer appeared sporadically. They spread like patterns unfolding in synchronized waves. Conversations repeated themselves with slight variations. Objects appeared in places where no one remembered placing them. Entire neighborhoods reported feelings of déjà vu that lasted for hours, as if the world itself were rehearsing the same day over and over, trying to perfect a final version. The global network of researchers tracking the shift noticed one last impossible detail. Every previous anomaly, every orphaned day, every map inconsistency, every memory fragment, formed a spiral when charted across time. A spiral moving inward toward a single center point that fell exactly on the convergence date. It meant one thing: everything happening since 2012 was leading somewhere. As the world unknowingly approached that moment, sensitive individuals described hearing a faint hum in the back of their minds. Others felt pressure behind their eyes, a strange warmth in their temples, or a fleeting sense that reality was stretching thin, like a sheet pulled too tight. Some felt an overwhelming sadness, as if remembering a place they could no longer return to. And then, in the final weeks, people began to vanish from memory. Not physically, just from recollection. Someone would mention a coworker no one else remembered. Someone's relatives seemed to disappear from family photos. Date logs updated themselves, removing names from events they once attended. It was as if the timeline was adjusting, tightening, trimming excess threads before the collapse. Dr. Mercer, who had dedicated her life to understanding the 2012 shift, believed the universe, or whatever governed timelines, was cleaning up contradictions. She described it as a consolidation process, merging the remaining fragments of alternate realities into the last stable version. Her final report contained only one line: the timeline is choosing what to keep. As the convergence hour neared, the anomalies reached their peak. Digital clocks froze. Shadows bent at angles that made no sense. People heard voices saying words they didn't understand, words that felt like echoes of a language they once knew. The hum grew louder. Every part of the world seemed to vibrate with a deep, resonant frequency. The silence that followed felt ancient and infinite, an emptiness so complete that even thought seemed distant. For a fraction of a second, the world felt weightless, disconnected from everything, suspended in a void between realities. Then the convergence began. Memories unfurled into new shapes. History reordered itself in a way that felt familiar yet wrong. People's lives rearranged like shuffled cards, snapping into place to form a timeline that had never existed before, and yet, somehow, always had. When the world resumed, no one remembered the shift. Not the anomalies, not the orphan days, not the visions, the distortions, the spirals. It was as if the universe sealed the event behind an impenetrable wall. Only a handful of individuals, those most deeply connected to the anomalies, woke up with a faint sense that something was missing. A hole in memory they could not explain, a whisper of a world that no longer existed. They couldn't describe it, they couldn't prove it. But they knew, because sometimes late at night, when everything was quiet, they heard the hum again. A low, distant vibration. Not constant, just a momentary pulse, like a fading heartbeat of a reality that once ran parallel to our own. It meant the convergence was complete, but it carried a warning too subtle for most to notice. The shift wasn't a one-time event, and the hum, faint as it was, carried a pattern identical to the early signatures recorded in 2011, the year before the last collapse, which meant the truth was far more unsettling than anyone imagined. The shift of 2012 wasn't the end, and one day the spiral will tighten again. When it does, the timeline will choose once more, and next time, humanity might not remember anything at all.